What's going on, Jerome's? So, as we pointed out, picking the entire card is very stupid, right? And unfortunately, we missed picks last week. Sort of happens when schedule gets discombobulated, or maybe it's because it's very stupid. For entertainment purposes only, we went 6-9 with our week 9 picks, bringing us to 58 and 6. Exactly 50%. And I mean, hey, 50% is nice, but it's far below the break-even point of 52.4%. So it is what it is. Back on the horse with the slate starting this week. So I missed the Thursday night game. I probably would have taken the commies, so maybe it worked out. But the noon games on Sunday, the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers on the road against the crooked Chicago Bears. The Bears are getting 5 points at home. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not buying the Packers. Still don't. Right. And there's always something weird about rivalry games. Now, I think that the Packers win outright, except I think it comes down to a field goal. And the whole firing of Shane Waldron, I feel like every time a play caller or coach gets fired, there's a little bit of a bump. So I don't think that the Packers win. I don't think that the Bears win, but I do think that they covered the 5, like a 21-17 type game. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Lions. Now, everyone and their mom is already picking is like Jaguars are going to lose. But I feel like there's something there, right? I feel like there was some chinks in the armor against the Texans for the Lions. But, of course, I mean, Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions, they'll do it. But I'm still mad at the Texans for letting them off the hook. And the Jaguars' last couple games, like even without Trevor Lawrence, which they will be again on Sunday, I mean, they've been kind of interesting. So, of course, taking the Vikings to the wire last week, as well as the near run thing against the Eagles the week before. So I'm not saying that the Jaguars win, but 2 touchdowns is just too much in the National Football League. And that pass rush, Josh Hines-Allen, I think we'll start getting home. So we'll see you there. Next up, the Vikings taking on the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. 6-point favorites on the road. Taking that. Give me that nut. I think the Vikings show up and show it. I think they get after Will Levis's ass. I think the offense gets their ish together, and Sam Darnold gets his head out of his arse, and we go from there. Next up, you got the Raiders off bye against the Dolphins. I feel like the Dolphins might be getting a little something going. It might be too little too late at this point, though, but the Raiders are just a mess. And offensively, they basically fired their entire offensive staff, and as we said, like sometimes that there's a bump, but bump means something different in Las Vegas. But, Scotty Turner and Norv being brought in, nah. Give me the Dolphins in this spot, like a 27-20 type game. Next up, you got the Rams going cross-country on the road, 4.5-point favorites against the Patriots. I kind of like what the Patriots have been doing. I mean, Drake May is highly variant, but he's super interesting, and give me the 4.5 points. Like maybe the Rams do eke this thing out, but a 23-20 type game could be. Next up, you got Jameis Winston and the Browns going down to Nolans for a revenge game. Give me the Browns, man. Give me the Browns. Let's go. Like it's vacillates. Basically, the game's a pick 'em, but I think that Jameis and company, I don't know. I just feel like they get something done. Nick Chubb easing back in, the Saints or whatever at this point. So there you go. Next, you got the Colts and Anthony Richardson back at the helm for the Stampede, taking on the Jets. The Jets are just ready to implode. They're done. They're finito. Rodgers just mailing this thing in. Give me Indy and the points, and also Indy to win outright. Last of the noon games, you got the Ravens, a -3 at Pittsburgh. This is going to be a big-time game. And respect, like Russell Wilson is actually looking kind of good. It turns out that Russell Wilson in Denver was really more Nathaniel Hackett and stupid-ass Sean Payton's fault. Who knew? But the Ravens and Lamar's playing at an MVP level. I just don't trust that defense. And, familiarity, all these games are going to be close. Give me the Steelers getting the 3 points at home. I'm not ready to say they win outright, but it's always nice getting points at home. 3 late games. The Falcons are getting 2 points on the road at Denver. I mean, Denver's kind of looking all right, especially that defense, man. And with the Falcons, Kirk Cousins set a career high for passing attempts last week, and then all of a sudden had shoulder and elbow issues. I don't know. Like he's a full go for this game, but that's something to keep an eye on because Kurt's kind of beat up at this point. And the Broncos, I think they'll do enough. I think they'll win outright, covering the 2 points. Next up, Seattle on the road against the Niners. You don't know which team is going to show up for Seattle. You just really don't. I think that they have a chance to really start clicking, but San Francisco is getting their groove back, and hopefully Jake Moody and their kicking game gets soldered together. But I don't know. Like, it's always tough for these division games laying almost a touchdown, but give me San Francisco to cover, again, in like a 30-24 type game. Then you got the Chiefs getting 2 points on the road against Buffalo. I think this is going to be the Chiefs' first loss. I think that the Chiefs have been holding this thing together with duct tape and baling wire, and the Bills, I mean, they're motivated. Like, this is their de facto Super Bowl thus far. So I think that the Bills win and cover, but I think that the Chiefs will ultimately win if and when they meet in the playoffs. That's usually how things go, man. You got the Bengals on the road getting a 1.5 against the Chargers, Sunday Night Football, jumping Jim Harbaugh. I mean, that defense, Jesse Minter is going to be a hot name for some of these coaching openings here in around the National Football League. And also, I think that the Chargers just match up very well for the Bengals defense and Lou Anarumo. And even though, Burrow and Chase have just been going off, I think that the Chargers defense is going to be locked in. So give me the Chargers to win and cover the 1.5. Lastly, Monday Night Football in a game that cannot be flexed out, unfortunately. So you got the Texans on the road, 7-point favorites against the Cowboys. Should have been a Cowboy. That was a disaster. Yeah, and even though they're getting Parsons is back for the second game now, just they literally cannot move the football enough. It's like just play Trey Lance. Like what's the worst that can happen? You look bad. Cooper Rush looks bad. Trey Lance, he's probably going to look bad, but at least he'll look good doing it. I don't know. Something like that. Give yourself a puncher's chance, man. Anyways, that is it. Week 11 NFL picks for entertainment purposes only. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section below. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.